Welcome everyone, and we're just wanting to encourage you today. I'm here with Mark Peterkens from Way Ministries from Ottawa, and they're doing a great job there with the churches and ministries of the city working together, serving and blessing our capital city in the nation of Canada. And so we want to look at sustaining a citywide movement, of course, in unity. Just kind of what are some of the components to kind of do that? And because I know for me, with city working with churches and networks, it sometimes is up and down, and it just can be all over the place. And how do you kind of sustain it and keep it where it's gaining traction? And
I mean, I think one of the most important parts is to be able to have significant resources directed towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think one of the challenges in the cities that we know of, or we walk with across Canada, is that very few of them have a dedicated staff person, or most of them are trying to do it with somebody who's doing it sort of part-time. Sometimes they say they do it on the corner of their desk.
That's a lot of them, yeah.
That's a lot of them, and I know we're blessed. We've got a unique history, and we've got a good-sized team. But I think one of the things I pray for cities across Canada is that people would have a little bit of a missionary heart, and a missionary posture towards this ministry. This is so important. This ministry is so important, and it's really significant. And we've seen that in our city. But I think what would benefit the city is for a couple of people, even if just one person was to stand up and say, I want to do this full time. Who's with me? Who can support me so that I can spend my time to do this? Obviously it's got to be the right person, and somebody with good capabilities and who's trusted in the city. But to release them to be able to do that for most of the time of what they do really helps to sustain that, because for you and others like that, the demands of your time ebb and flow with your church as a pastor, and even people with somebody who might be doing it from a business perspective. Their business is going to take time from them from time to time, and they're kind of in and out, just like you were saying, a little bit of in and out, a little bit of up and down, perhaps, in terms of how much capacity they can give to it. So that would be one of the things I would say about sustaining.
That definitely makes it. I know when we brought on Aaron for basically doing operations.
Yes. That
changed everything.
Yeah. Right? I bet you saw your capacity to do things go from here to here, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm praying for people who would have the faith to be able to say, I'm going to give this a shot. Let's see if we can do. Let's see if I can raise the support I need, the funding I need, in the next year or two, and be intentional about that. Be intentional about that. But what we've seen in Ottawa, just to put faith into your wings, is that people are willing to invest in that. Churches, individuals. Business owners, when they see the fruit of some of the things that you do, they're willing to invest in that. And they see that this is a great ministry to invest in.
Yeah, and I've with different ones in the business community that I know, they want to see results sometimes beyond the four walls of their church. They see the church is doing so much to a degree, but when we're together in a city, and we can have a greater impact on certain things in a way that an individual church can't.
Exactly.
And so they will invest in that if they see what it can do.
Yeah.
And so again, it goes really back to the vision. We've got to be able to cast that and show that and
engage
see that.
And
before you're going to get that.
Yeah, so one of the other things I would think about in terms of sustaining a vision is relationships and trust, right? For your movement, wherever you might be, to build into it the opportunity for people to get to know each other it's sometimes it's just doing fun things.
Yeah.
You know, for years and years, and we still do this to a certain degree, we just bring leaders together for a fun event.
Mm-hmm.
We have a business guy in Ottawa, and he's supporting what we do. And one of the things he does to help us is he gives us hockey tickets. Now, the Ottawa Senators are not doing so well right now, so the value of that might be a little bit lower. But it's such a he wants
just a fun.
It's a fun thing, and so. You know, when somebody receives those tickets, either there's a conversation they might have with somebody who's there with them, or if they're just there with their spouse or whatever, there's a sense of, hey, somebody knows my world,
Mm-hmm.
somebody understands what I'm going
Mm-hmm.
through, and this is really special.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes creating special,
Yeah.
you know, special events for the leaders that you're trying to engage.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for pastors, you know, when you're trying to engage pastors, there's lots of things they don't get to participate in just because of finances and
Mm-hmm.
their pay level versus other people's
Mhm.
pay levels, and so we often look for ways. What can we do with that? We've got a person a family who owns a golf course, and every year they give us passes. You know, then we pass those out to
Nice.
our pastors
Mhm.
for them to use, and it's a foursome, so they get to take somebody with them. And sure, you know, somebody's going to say, "Where did this come from?" Oh, this came from One Way Ministries. What are they all about? Oh, they're all about bringing people together in unity.
Mm-hmm.
So ways to
Yeah, the
stir that up.
relational for sure. You've got to, and looking at ways to connect relationally is huge, because it's so much about the task a lot of times.
Yeah,
And it's like, do I need another task? Like,
exactly.
So one thing that we've done, and it's really been a blessing, is the prayer circles. And it doesn't take a ton of time, but it's really caused that connection. First of all, in prayer. So what it is we meet with a group of 3 or 4 different pastors, and then ministry leaders are doing it too, and sometimes we have it mixed, but it's just 15 minutes you committed to in a Zoom call. You set the time, that group sets the time when they want to do it in the week, and then it's a high-low. So what was something good that God did? And then what's the low? What's something that you're working through? And it's really getting people in each other's lives a little bit more.
Exactly.
And because we're doing it once a week, it's a touch point where you're tracking with someone. And you're getting to know each other in a way that it's doing life together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think we need more of those kinds of things. Cause
Yeah. When people get a chance to share their story,
mm-hmm.
it is such a bonding experience. You know, I know you can't do this on these calls because this will take a little bit longer, but some of the groups that we bring together, one of the first things we do with them when we want to see them bond together is we give them an hour to share what's their life story.
Yes.
And we do something similar. You know, what are the highs and lows been in
Mm-hmm.
your life coming
Mm-hmm.
up to today? You know, they can go wherever they want.
Mm-hmm.
But when people are vulnerable and they share their lows, it really bonds people together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's that bonding, that friendship, that trust that is gold in God's kingdom.
Yeah. And the relational, I think, like with Jesus, I mean, that was the one thing he was bringing when he came to earth, was he gave us a revelation of the Father. Like, it literally is a relationship between a father and a son. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was the one that brought that whole dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes everything, because and if we realize we are a family and that we need to operate in that level,
Right.
and in that way, I mean, you don't ditch your family.
Right.
You're stuck with your family, right? You work it through, you figure it out,
Even when there's an Uncle Norm, right? He's a little bit weird.
and
a
everyone
little
has to have an
off-base.
Uncle Norm,
Yeah,
right?
but he's still part of the family, right?
But it's like, I think that's what makes it sustainable at its core. It's like, no, there isn't the option of just jumping out of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, somehow we're going to have to work this out.
Somehow we have, yeah. Yeah, one of the beautiful things that we find when people, pastors from different denominational backgrounds, who sometimes might look at each other with a little bit of, I'm not so sure about that denomination, when they get to know one another, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I see Jesus in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and they see Jesus in my life, even though we work that out in different ways, perhaps, you know, in different styles.
Mm-hmm.
is so powerful, right? It's like, okay, no, Jesus is right there.
Yeah.
And I can learn from that person, even though they're different now. I can learn from them, and I can appreciate a different expression of the body of Christ.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of to wrap this up, I mean, there's so many different principles we can cover in sustaining unity, but when you pray together, and I would encourage you to do this and keep this at the forefront, that is where that removes all the walls, because when you begin to pray together with anyone, I've found this across denominations, the heart's the same at the core of it. It's like when you start to pray with someone else, you don't begin to see any of the difference, because the heartbeat and the core is the same. And so if you're going to unify, I always say, don't do it this way, do it this way. As you pray, you're both focused on the one, you bump into each other.
Yeah, that's a great example.
And it's I've seen that it's helped really sustain so much.